guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to go over how to add a little bit of contour and highlight to your already established foundation routine. I hope that you guys can benefit from this, and I hope that it's something that you feel that you can achieve on your own. It's really not complicated, and I hope that you don't feel like after viewing this video that it got more complicated. Use what you already have. It's a really simple process, and I hope that you can build it into your daily routine or just use it for special occasions. First, I'm going to start with a primer. I use the L'Oreal Paris Revitalift Miracle Blur Oil-Free Primer. I use the oil-free because I have naturally oily skin, and I just don't need anything to add any oil. It's really, really silky and just feels so awesome even on your hands. It really doesn't soak in like a lotion. It just kind of lays on top of your skin and forms a barrier between your face, your pores, and your foundation. If you don't wear foundation, you can still build this contouring and highlighting into your routine. I recommend doing the next step, which is the concealer that we're going to use to define our cheekbones as well as our forehead. Just do that without doing your foundation and blend it out, and you'll get the same effect. What I use to get the contouring effect is just this CoverGirl drugstore concealer stick, and I got it in a much darker color. As you can tell, it definitely does not match my skin tone, but that's because we're going to create shadows where we want to contour, and we're going to create light where we want to highlight. So I'm going to create a shadow right here in the hollow of my cheekbone, and draw the line from about your hairline really as far as you want, but I typically just go to right about the end of my eye. Make it as thick or as thin as you want. It really just depends. It's all going to blend out. Don't freak out. It looks like so much on camera, but trust me, you'll see it's going to blend out. Also, you want to put it here in the corners of your forehead, a little down your temple if you just feel like you need a little bit extra shadow there. Anywhere that you see shadows, you can do some right here on your chin. On special occasion days, I'll go down the sides of my nose, not every day, just adds a little bit there. Now that we have those lines really defined and we can see where we want those shadows to be, we're going to add our foundation. I use the L'Oreal Paris Magic Nude Liquid Powder. It dries like a powder, so it feels really silky and dry. So what I do is I pour it onto my hand. I take my beauty blender, which is just my wet beauty blender. I just dab it from my hand onto my brush, and I go into the areas that we have not placed concealer. So I'm just going to get the desired coverage that I want in all the areas other than where we have placed the concealer. The thing about the beauty blender is that it feels really great, and it's not as easy as just applying it all over with your hand, but when you're doing something precise like this, the beauty blender really is awesome. It helps blend everything right out where you want it to be. I'm going to go in and just start dabbing it over the areas that we have put the concealer. And this is just blending everything out, blending it all together, and creating those shadows in the places that we told it to, where we put the concealer. So it just really softens that whole area out a little bit. If you didn't have as oily skin as I do, you might be able to get away with just this. But I have really oily skin. Even though this is powdery finish, it's just not quite enough for me. So I will typically go over it with my loose powder. I use Naked Skin Loose Powder by Urban Decay in Naked Medium. So I'll just take my stippling brush. This one is by Real Techniques, and I'll just go in and dab it wherever I feel like I need to get rid of a little bit of shine or absorb a little bit of the oil on my face. I use the Maybelline New York Instant Age Rewind. If you're in the drugstore, all you have to do is look for this little guy because he is really pretty obvious. The consistency is really great, and I'm using it as a concealer as well as a highlighter, so I get it a little bit lighter than my actual skin tone. I'm going to put it under my eyes. That's where I'm concealing the dark circles. And then I'm going to bring it down a little bit into a triangle shape, just to probably the tip of my nose. And then I'm going to bring it out a little bit to my temple. And this is the area that we're trying to highlight. So we're trying to make this look thinner, and we're trying to illuminate our cheekbone. Once we've applied it where we want it to go, we're going to just take our finger and dab the product until we feel like it's blended enough for us to be able to work with it a little bit more, and that it's covering everything we want it to cover. blended out really nicely. Once we feel like we've really covered what we want to cover, it's blended really nicely, no harsh line, we're going to set this concealer. What I'm using is the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil. I take my Real Techniques setting brush, I dab and set what we've just put on our face. So translucent powder is really clear, and it's just provides a dry product for the concealer to stick to and stay in place. So once we finish that, we really could just walk out the door like this, but I want to add a little bit more definition to the sides of my face and maybe just a little bit more of a bronzy look up here. I'm gonna take my Benefit bronzer in Hula. It's not a bronzer that is shimmery, which is great for contouring, so I'm just gonna take some on my Real Techniques foundation brush. I like that it's shaped skinny like this so that I can really get a defined line. It's a foundation brush, but that doesn't matter. I don't use it for foundation, I strictly use it for this. So I'm gonna go in where we created that brown shadow earlier and draw over the line again, giving it a little more of a pop. I'm gonna blend it all out. You can see the definition here, you can see the highlight that I've already created with my concealer. What I'm gonna do is go in with a little bit of blush. It kind of serves as a bridge between the contouring and the highlighting. So I'm using MAC Sun Mask. I'm just gonna go kind of in between the two, right before the top of my cheekbone and right above the area that I've just contoured. Finally, just to add a little bit more highlight in these sides where I really want to pop and I want that light to really shine, I'm gonna take my Sigma large angled contour brush, the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Luminous Light. There's a whole collection of these. They're really amazing. They're pricey, but they're amazing. There's a trio that you can get, but I just really liked this one in the store, so this is the one I bought. I'm just going to focus on the area above my cheekbone where we want that light to pop. That's it. Thanks for watching. I hope this is a helpful video, and I hope that you can really embed this into the routine that you already have with your foundation. Next time you're at the drugstore, just pick up one of these little CoverGirl sticks or get a darker color of the concealer that you already use. If you know you like a formula, it's really just going to be underneath. So if you want to spend that money, that's great, but you don't have to, and I just showed you that you don't have to. So save the money where you can and splurge on other things. Still recording? Okay. That looks stupid.